Hey everyone, welcome back to another InterSleuths live stream. We're going to be trying out something a little bit different here this time. I got my good friend Roger, who's going to be ripping a whole 24 packs from a sealed box of Star Wars Unlimited. His camera setup is brand new. We're trying this on the fly here. Hopefully it comes across pretty good and clear for you guys. He's going to be ripping this whole box. We're going to see what we get out of it, and he's going to set his cards aside in piles based on packs of 6, like the first 6 packs, kind of like we did with our previous stream with my friend Undead Feated, because we may or may not be doing a sealed league using these cards. I have a box. I'm not sure if I'm going to be ripping it yet or when I'm going to be ripping it, but that's what we're going to be doing going forward here. I'm going to be narrating him ripping this box. So he's not actually going to be interacting with us other than you'll see his hands on stream. But if we do a sealed league using these cards and we do some matches on the stream with me and Roger, you'll be able to hear him in future streams. So let us know what you guys think about this type of setup and me narrating him doing this box ripping. Again, this is live. He is ripping it live. This is not a voiceover of a pre-existing video. So you're going to get to see what you can expect from an entire box, which is rare to get right now because these cards are out of stock. This game is very hot right now. I'm going to be doing some explanations on some of the cards as we pull them. If I like a card, we're going to be pausing more for the rares, and if we get a legendary, we'll be talking about those more. But for commons, we're going to go somewhat quick. I'll throw off a little spiel about them if I like or dislike them, how I think they'll work in certain deck compositions as we see the meta unfold. Me and Roger have done several store showdowns. Roger actually got top 8 in the top 8, so he has a top 8 Mace Windu. I have not yet. Still trying to get that, so we'll see how it does going forward. But without further ado, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have Roger go ahead and rip this box open and keep those stacks nice and stacked up so we can see. Me and my friend Undead Feated, when we ripped our boxes, we had some very interesting things happen where we had some of the exact same packs and we're in different states across the country. So there's some very weird stuff going on with the packs. We've noticed that if you have like a Chewy and you open those up, sometimes you get several of the same card runs. Some very strange things. But here we go. He's just ripped through that plastic. He's going to take out these stacks, keeping them nice and stacked up there. And we are going to hop right into this. You don't need to keep all of the. I guess you can keep those on screen if you want to just put them up to one of the corners or something. Make sure the glare ain't too bad. So that way people know that you're not swapping out packs or anything. We're keeping everything on screen so you guys get to see all this live. And this should be pretty nice for some people. Get that fix of, your little bit of pack cracking fix because packs are hard to come by right now. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the top left pack. Looks like we got Thrawn on the cover. And he's going to do his best to emulate how I normally do the pack cracking. He's going to reveal them one at a time, sliding them up. And bear with us because this is his first time guest starring on the InterSleuths. Too bad it's not a showcase, but our leader here, we got Boba Fett. Capital City for our base. And we're going to get right into the commons. We got Strike True. Very good card. System Patrol Craft. That has some play. Get you a Sentinel out in space. Not my favorite card, but does have its place. Green Squadron A-Wing. Pretty good in Leia deck because you can, it's a rebel, so you can get some pretty good hits off with that. Recruit. Wilderness Fighter. I don't really run Wilderness Fighter that much. They come out shielded, but they're a 3 and they only do 2 damage. Not the most hard-hitting card, but they have some survivability. Frontier ATRT, a neutral card. We got Waylay. Very nice card for control decks. Lets you send a unit back to its owner's hand. You can do that with one of your units or an enemy unit. Next card here, we got Syndicate Lackeys. We have a Hyperspace Guerrilla Attack Pod. That looks awesome. That's got to be worth something right there. Hyperspaces are my favorite. I'm not a big fan of foils because they tend to curl a little bit. Hyperspace foils can look pretty nice, but I'm really a big fan of the just the hyperspaces. Looks like we have our first unique coming up here. What do we got? Cannon. Nice. Very good. Very good Jedi card. He's a rebel, so he can synergize with a lot of things, and he's also Spectre. He's got a lot of synergy with Cannon. We have another unique, Bib Fortuna. I put this in my Boba deck, but I am not a fan of Bib Fortuna. I can definitely see how it has play because you can exhaust him and allows you to play an event from your hand and make it cost one less. So if it's a 1 cost, it's free. If it's a 2 cost, you get it for 1. It has play, and he comes out shielded, so he has some survivability, but I've always tended to resource him because I had something else that I needed to play. But if you're going for a very event heavy play style, Bib Fortuna can help you get those events out there a lot cheaper. Another unique here. Oh, it's hyperspace. Yep, Roger's pointing out that it's hyperspace. Scout, Starwing Scout. That looks awesome. I'm a huge fan of the vehicles with the artwork of the vehicles. They just look fantastic. And then when you get them in hyperspace, beautiful. Love that. I don't think I even have one of those yet. That's a great looking card. For his rare, he has a base, and it's the Jeddah City. Give a non-leader unit -4 for this phase. I don't know if I've ever really seen that one played, but the epic action can only be used once, and so basically for one phase you can stop something from doing a bunch of damage to your base or killing one of your units. And then for his foil, he's got Jeddah City foil. All right, I've never seen that before in a pack. That's that's actually pretty cool. I've actually never seen a foil. I've seen hyperspace bases, but I've never seen a foil base, let alone a foil unique base or rare base. That's pretty dope. I like that. So that's what we got out of his first pack. He's gonna set those aside, and we're gonna move to the next Thrawn. And the reason I like to do in order like this is because I've noticed some strange things with consecutive packs. You can get some runs of cards. It may not be as easy to identify them when we're doing a singular pack on stream, but when I was doing my pack with Undead Feated, it made it easier to see because he pulled a card and I pulled a card. You can go back, watch some of our shorts, watch our previous streams. It was pretty crazy. So yeah, you can go ahead and rip into that, Roger, and we'll see what we get in here. Fingers crossed that you get some nice legendaries. You're doing great, by the way. This is turning out really good. All right, we have Jyn Erso for our leader. Command center. And so you opened this the same, right? And it looks like all of the cards are flipped. That's what I mean by like there's some strange things that happen with these packs. It's nothing like too crazy. Well, we did see some crazy stuff, but there's just some strange things with them. Like why were all these cards upside down? I'm not too sure. And I've seen a pack too that the cards were flipped and then they were flipped again. A little strange, but so we got Echo Base Defender, one of my favorite Sentinel cards, hits very hard. You know, it's got 3 health for a 3-drop, which is right on par, but it hits very hard for a Sentinel card. Rugged Survivors. I've never actually played Rugged Survivors, but pretty good vigilance card. They got grit on them with 5 health, which allows them to hit harder as they take more damage. Precision Fire. Pretty good tactic. I like to use that in my Tarkin when I'm doing a Tarkin trooper build. That's really good for that deck. Normally you want to probably sideboard that if you need to get some Saboteur in. Resupply, always good for ramp. Any ramp deck you're trying to do, trying to get those Vaders out there sooner, put resupply in play. Academy Defense Walker here. Very good unit. If you can get up to 6 resources without getting taken out by an aggro, Academy Defense Walker is great. It's got Sentinel, when played, giving experience to any damaged unit. Synergizes very well with like what's that leader? The Jedi Hunter guy. Grand Inquisitor works great with Grand Inquisitor for all your damaged units, just getting an experience token. So one of my favorite Sentinel cards for Vigilance. Disabling Fang Fighter. Roger actually told me it's actually pretty good to sideboard a couple of these in case you need to remove upgrades from your own units. If somebody entrenches your own unit, such as like your Leia leader, and you have nothing to hit, so you can't use Leia's ability, you could play Disabling Fangfighter to actually remove the upgrade from your own unit, which could help you get out of an entrenched situation. Got another common here. Underworld Thug. Never used it. I don't really use any of the no aspect cards, but maybe in the future they might have some play as some more sets come out. Grimorian Guards. This is actually a pretty good card in my opinion. If you're playing a heavy yellow deck, it's basically gives you an option for another Sentinel. And in my opinion, you can never have too many Sentinels. ATST. Great unit with Overwhelm. Hits really hard. Comes out at 6. Not bad. Ooh, we got our first unique here. Looks like got Devotion. Devotion's a really good upgrade in my opinion because it lets you give restore to basically anything, and you get a buff on top of it for only a 2-drop. And if you can get it out there for somehow for cheaper, having restore 2 is really nice. Just basically turning any unit, if it's a strong unit with a lot of health or something, you're getting a lot of value out of that restore. So very good upgrade in my opinion. Got a rare here. We got Bamboozle. Again, you know how I feel about this art. If you watch my previous streams and my shorts, you'll know how I feel about that art. But Bamboozle's a pretty interesting card. Nice yellow card there. All right, next here we have another unique. It's a little grainy on my end, but it's not too bad. I'm still being able to see what the cards are coming in the bottom right corner there. We have a Devotion Hyperspace. That is awesome art. I love hyperspaces. They look so good. Looks like that is a rare. Yep, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi here. He's a rare. One of the best Sentinels. If you can get Obi-Wan, you saw in my previous competition that I did with Undead Feated, if you're able to get Obi-Wan out and Luke out, you can do a lot of damage. Obi-Wan dies, sacrificial, gives the experience to his young Padawan, and you just do work with Luke then. Absolute awesome Sentinel. I love Obi-Wan. We have a card flipped upside down. Admiral Piet in hyperspace foil. Strange that he's upside down. Again, weird stuff happens with these packs, but that looks great. I'm not normally a fan of foil, but that looks in that command center that he's in right now on that bridge. That's really good artwork. I love that. Yeah, hyperspace foil Admiral Piet. That is pack 2 down. Moving on to pack 3. He's going to move on to that top left Leia. And again, he's keeping these first 6 packs. That's our second pack. He's keeping these first 6 separate, so that way, if we're going to do Sealed League, technically he has the sealed cards, because we would do it remote, how I did it with Undead Feated. All right, here we go. We're still got our fingers crossed for that showcase. Emperor Palpatine. I got my ass kicked by 2 Palpatines at this last store showdown. If you can move up just a tiny bit, Roger. You're a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, Palpatine is a very interesting leader. He comes out late, but once he's out, if you don't have an answer, you're toast. For his base, you got Hyperspace Echo. Great looking card. Open Fire, deal 4 damage to a unit. In my opinion, Open Fire is one of the weaker removals because it has to deal damage, so it can't bypass shields and such, but deal 4 damage is still strong. Mercenary Company. This is an awesome card, honestly, in my opinion, because it has Ambush and Overwhelm. Comes out at 6, you come out swinging, you swing hard. If something's almost dead or has low health, you just deal a bunch of damage right to their base. Restore Arc 170. Arguably one of the best 2-drops pretty much in the game, because you can do it on play it on turn 1 and just automatically restore any of the damage. It just helps you keep up with the damage right out the gate. Infiltrator Skill, another great one for a Tarkin Trooper deck. Allows you to attach it to any unit. You can attach it to any unit, but it works really good for my Tarkin Red deck where I do a Trooper build. And it basically just gives you Saboteur, so you can just bypass Any Sentinel you want. And defeat shields too. Battlefield Marine, one of my favorite 2-drops, also like the Restore Arc. Really, really good card. Comes out at a 3/3, one of the strongest 2-drops in my opinion, because you can get that out turn 1, and if you have any buffs, you're playing a deck where you have a lot of upgrades and stuff, you throw an upgrade on him, you just have a really strong card that they have to deal with, or they're just going to be getting pummeled over and over. Rebel Pathfinder. 2/2/3 drop with Saboteur. It's not too bad. It's a Rebel. Really works really good in Leia deck. Maximum Firepower. This is a card that I don't play that much, and here's my reasoning behind that. It's overkill. You basically attack with an Imperial unit. It deals damage equal to its power to a unit. So you're not actually doing the attack. It's the event doing the attack, and then you use another friendly Imperial unit to deal damage equal to its power to the same unit. So you can only focus fire into the same unit. Now, if you could spread that to where you wanted, it'd be an amazing. It'd probably be overpowered at that point, but with it being to the same unit, unless in a very small use case scenario where you have 2 smaller cards and you need to take out a really big card, then it would come in handy, but it's a very niche. So I never really run that. I just play strike trues and things like that where you can pay a little bit less and get a little more precision with your attack there. Disarm, give an enemy unit -4 for this phase. Very good 1-drop to basically just prevent a little bit of damage from coming your way. Rogue Operative. I've not played Rogue Operative too much. It's a very good card, though, in my opinion. I'm not sure why I don't really put it in more decks, but it has Saboteur, so you're defeating shields and you're bypassing Sentinel, and it has Raid 2, so it's hitting for 4. It's basically a 4/4 when you're attacking, and it's only a 3-drop, so you could play that on turn 2. Colonel Yularen. This is a very interesting card. I've seen this get a lot of play with Palpatine. You're coming out of frame a little bit. You just move up a little bit. There you go. Perfect. I've seen this get a lot of play with the Palpatines that I've faced because they have a lot of green cards coming out. Every green unit you play, you basically restore, including him. So he's an instant restore 1, and he's a 2/3. So he's not bad for a 2-drop. And he is an official, which is very important for those guards that people love to put in the Palpatine decks. It's eluding me the name of them. I think it's like Imperial or Royal Guard or something like that. But anyways, yeah, since he's an official, it works with that. It gives them Sentinel. Zeb for our first unique. Is he unique or rare? I think it's unique. It's hard to tell. It's a little grainy, but yeah. So he's a unique. Zeb's great because he's a Spectre. You could play him out of suit if you're playing Hera. He's a rebel, so he works good with a Leia deck. And basically, if he completes an attack, which means if he actually successfully kills the unit without dying himself, or he doesn't need to kill the unit, if he completes the attack without dying himself, you get to deal an additional 4 damage to a ground unit. So you could use that to finish off the target or dump it into something else. Very, very strong card when you need to get some board clear going. For our next unique, we have General Veers. Very great card. He's basically Sentinel because you have to deal with him. If you don't, all other Imperials are getting +1/+1. So it's almost like having pseudo Sentinel. We have a rare. What is it going to be? It's Ruck. Ruck. This card is the bane of my existence. He doesn't get a lot of play. I'm not too sure why. I've seen him a couple times in competitive play, but he comes out shielded, which is always very strong. He has 6 health, which is incredible. For a 5-drop, he's got 3 damage. But here's the kicker. When he deals combat damage to a non-leader unit while attacking, you defeat that unit. So he basically insta-gibs as long as it's not a leader, but not when he's defending. So he's very good on offense. And for our foil, we have Scout Bike Pursuer. That's it for pack number, I think that's number 3. We're moving on to pack 4. I really like these packs too. Me and Undead Feated were raving about this, but these packs are so nice to open with that paper. They're so easy to tear into. I wish they did that with the weekly play packs as well. IG88 for our leader. I've 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 never seen Roger saying that one of the cards feels oversized. Looks like the back card, yeah, is a miscut. Looks like it's a little bit larger. Yep, that back card is a miscut. We'll have to see what that is and see what anomaly that is when we get to it. Leave that suspense hanging. So IG88, I've never really seen too much play for IG88. I don't think I've ever faced an IG88, but he's an interesting card nonetheless for a leader. We got Hyperspace Capital City here for our base. Strike True, that's what I was telling you about. It's one of my favorite alternatives to like maximum firepower because this is more of a precision attack. It only costs 3, so you're playing it a little bit earlier, and you get to deal the damage of a unit, of a friendly unit to another unit, and it normally is enough. You don't need the maximum firepower. We have Surgical Droid, very good card for a 1-drop if you just need, if you have Sentinel out and he's not going to get targeted and just taken out. Every time he attacks, if you're attacking their base, so that way he doesn't die, or you're attacking a weaker unit, you're just healing 2 damage, just over and over again. Imperial Interceptor. This is one of my favorite Imperial or like, villainy deck space units because when he gets played, he just deals 3 damage. So if there's another unit out there that has got 3 health, it just dies and he takes nothing in return. It's pretty strong too with dealing 3 damage. Metal Ceremony. I tried to work this into my Leia deck, but I never, like, I always ended up just resourcing it because you need to have units out and that have attacked in order to get value out of it. But it is a 0 cost, so you're not really losing anything. I don't know. It's just you need to make sure you have at least 2 or 3 rebels out there. Using it on 1 rebel, when you play Metal Ceremony, you're most likely not going to get the initiative unless the other guy is way ahead of you, unless your opponent's way ahead of you and has a ton of units that they want to attack with, and you have nothing else to do. Metal Ceremony normally means you lose the initiative. Seasoned Shore Trooper. This is one of my favorite green villainy cards. Imperial Trooper works great in a Tarkin deck, and he automatically becomes stronger. It's like having a 2-drop and a 4-drop in the same card because he gets upgraded with, once you have 6 resources and that you control, he gets an additional 2 damage. System Patrol Craft. And the next card here, 7th Fleet Defender. I love this card as well. This is a great card because it comes out shielded. Anything that gets a shield automatically, I'm biased towards, I like, because it's just basically a bonus on top of the card. It just comes out, gets a shield. Frontier, another Frontier ATRT here. Another Syndicate Lackey. Attack Pattern Delta for our first unique. This is an interesting card. It's double green. And Roger loves to play double green, but it's interesting. He doesn't actually use Attack Pattern Delta. But this is an interesting card because if you have 3 units out there and you're doing, if you're playing a Leia deck or a swarm build where you have a lot of units that you're trying to get on the board, this can be very beneficial. You can set up for huge hits with Attack Pattern Delta because your first unit, you get to give 3 to, another unit you get to give 2 to, and another unit you get to give 1 to. So you're basically doing 6 extra damage and increasing their survivability of a lot of your smaller units, all with 1 3-drop. But if you are not playing double green, you're going to have to play it off aspect, which means you have to pay 2 extra, so it's going to be a 5-drop. Another unique here. Force Throw. I need some more Force Throws for my Vader deck that I'm doing. I have an Inquisitor-based Vader deck, and I only actually have 1 Force Throw in there, but Force Throw is a really nice card. Basically, you choose a player, they discard a card from their hand, then if you control Force, which you'd put this into a Force deck where you have a lot of Force units, that way you're more likely to be able to benefit of this second part, you may deal the damage equal to the card that was discarded. So if they have all big cards and they have to discard a 6, you get to deal 6 damage. It's a great card. It only costs you 1. Another unique here. We have AT-AT Suppressor. I like this card, but I have not found a use for it yet. I haven't seen it make a lot of play yet. But again, as more sets come out, as we get more cards in the pool and people are experimenting with more deck composition, This could be very good if you're doing like an all space build. You get up to 8, you need to exhaust ground. You just play this. Every ground unit, including your own, get exhausted. Yeah, Roger's saying this would normally end up like in a Thrawn deck where you're doing like a lot of control and you know what's coming and stuff like that. So, oh man, I need that. I need one more Traitorous in my life. Is that a rare? I think that's a rare. Yeah, Traitorous, really good card. Basically, it's 5 drop, and you just get to take control of a unit that costs 3 or less from your enemy. Now it's yours, unless they can remove this upgrade. Love that card. Such a good card. All right, here is our miscut. This is the last card, I believe. This is the miscut. Legendary Black 1 Hyperspace Foil Miscut. Hold another card up on top of this, Roger. Show the miscut alignment again. So line it up perfectly on the bottom and let us see. Let's see this miscut. It might have, yeah, Roger's saying it may have just been stuck because now it's appearing that they're the same size. So it may have just been, yeah, it looks like it's hard to tell if it's a miscut. Roger's saying it's not a miscut. He's saying it. Do they feel the same on the top and bottom? All right, they're the same. They're not a miscut. He's confirmed, but still, yeah, they must have just been stuck because of that hyperspace or that foil on there. But that is an awesome card. Legendary Black 1 in hyperspace foil. What a pack to have. That's got to be worth big bucks right there. That has got to be super rare. I do have one black one, but I'll tell you right now, it's not a hyperspace foil. So that was pack 4, if I've been counting correct. We're moving on to Chewies now. Congrats on that last card there, man. That is amazing. Still got our fingers crossed for a showcase here. Hyperspace Jin, not Showcase Jin, but Hyperspace is nice. Pretty cool cards. Yeah, and the other side here is Hyperspace as well. Those are nice. I like how they did those. I like that they did it on both sides. Administrator's Tower for our base. Our first card here is Make an Opening. Make an Opening is an interesting card. I don't normally really use it that much, but you basically just give a unit -2 for this phase, and you get to heal. But it's a 3 cost, which I feel is a little steep. You're basically preventing 2 damage and healing 2 damage, so it almost, it could be worth it, I could see. I could see it getting some play. First Legion Snow Trooper. These are basically big unit annihilators. They can take out leaders. They're basically like leader assassins. They get +2 when attacking a damaged unit, and they have overwhelm. So they're also very good finishers. If you have a unit that you just couldn't quite finish off and you hit them with your First Legion Snow Trooper, you're going to deal all that excess damage directly into the opponent's base. Very good card. Consortium Star Viper. Nice little space unit, gives you Restore 2. Nothing too crazy, though. The 3/3/3 drop. Death Trooper. So these work really good into um, builds where you're using like Fifth Brother or any card that has grit, because you can deal 2 damage to a friendly unit and then 2 damage to an enemy ground unit. So they could have some synergy with like Grand Inquisitor. Cantina Braggot, basically a very weak 1 card, but it has Raid 2. So I don't know. Not my favorite 1-drop, because when it has 0 damage, that means when it's getting attacked, it does nothing in return. So it's kind of just a meat shield. Vanguard Infantry, another really good card that when it has a lot of utility with a lot of decks, because when it dies, you basically give an experience token to another unit. So you just get to buff up a stronger unit. Volunteer Soldier, a 3-drop with 2/3, and it has Raid. And if you control another trooper, it costs 1 less. So it is kind of nice to get out Volunteer Soldiers, because you can play them for 2 less if you're putting it into a trooper deck, which could be pretty strong considering it has Raid 1. It's doing 3 damage and it only costs 2. I guess that would technically bring it up to a Battlefield Marine, because a Battlefield Marine is a 2-drop, I believe. That is, yeah, it's a 2-drop that's 3/3. That card basically becomes a 2-drop that's 3/3, but it's Raid, so it's really not a full 3/3. Nothing much to say about Swoop Racer. It's basically just a 3/4/3. Viper Probe Droid. These cards are great because it lets you see your opponent's hand, and it's one of the strongest 2-drops also. I mean, it's not quite as good as a Battlefield Marine or that Volunteer Soldier because it has a little bit less health, but it does 3 damage, and it lets you see your opponent's hand. So you can sacrifice that 1 health to just see what they got. What do we got coming up here? Looks like our first unique. Power of the Dark Side. Great removal. Gets a lot of play in Blue Vader or any blue deck really that you need to get some removal. But basically, your opponent, if they only have 1 unit, you play this. It could be their leader. You play this, and their leader's just gone if there's no other unit for them to choose between. Next unique here, we got Greedo. I really like Greedo. I tend to only play him on the first couple of goes. Like if on the first couple phases or rounds, if I don't play Greedo, he's just going to get resourced in the future because I don't normally want to be discarding cards from my deck too much into the later game, because if you discard something that you really need that was a bigger card, you could get screwed. So, but it's still, for a 1-drop, he's doing 3 damage. That hurts early on. Got another unique here. Rebel Assault. Roger actually informed me of this. There's a very interesting build you can do with Leia where you use Rebel Assault. If you have 2 other units and Leia deployed, you can play Rebel Assault for 1. You give the extra damage to Leia and your first unit. You basically will attack with your first unit, and it deals +1. It has to be a Rebel. Then you attack with your next unit. It also does an additional 1, but that next unit should be Leia. And then when Leia attacks, it will trigger Leia, which allows you to attack with another Rebel. So you can get off 3 attacks all at once if you have the units in play, and the first 2 are going to deal an additional 1. So it's a lot of damage. You can overwhelm your opponent very easily with Rebel Assault if you're playing Leia. Is that a legendary? Oh my gosh. He just got a Darth Vader. That just happened, guys. Check that out. Not hyperspace, not foil. Nevertheless, very expensive card. Awesome. What can you say? I mean, it's a Vader. He's a 7/7 drop. He's got 5 health. Or he's got 7 health, 5 damage. Ambush when he comes out. Search the top 10 cards for any number of villainy units that cost a combined cost of 3 and put them into play. It's super, super strong. Vader will wreck you if you don't have an answer for him. But yeah, that's awesome legendary. Is that a legendary? It's a little blurry, but no, I mean the next card coming up, is that another legendary? Oh, okay. I thought, God. Oh, okay. We have a unique here for his final foil. No Good to Me Dead in foil. That's pretty nice. I like that. It works really good. That works really good on that artwork. I like that. That's probably one of the exceptions where I would accept it being in foil. Hyperspace foil would be even better. So is that deck number? That should be deck number 5. So this next pack will be, or that's pack number 5. This next pack will be pack number 6. So this will be, if we do our sealed league, I'll know that he'll have the option to have a Vader in there. I'm super jealous. I've not yet found a Vader. This makes me want to rip my box now. All right, we have Hyperspace, Grand Moff Tarkin. That's what I was telling you about doing a Tarkin deck. He's really nice. You can exhaust him, pay 1, and give an experience token to a unit. Deploys on 5, and he's a 2/7. Capital City for our base. Another Open Fire. The cards that we've gone through before, I've given my explanation. We're gonna go a little bit quicker through the ones that we already know. Recruit, we've talked about that as well. Wilderness Fighter. Another Green Squadron. Are you noticing something here? This is the exact same pack with a different leader and a different base that we just went through. One of the previous packs had these same cards in the same order. And I think that was the run where it ended then, because so like it's weird. You'll get runs of cards where like 3 or 4 of them will be the same, or 5 of them will be the same in a different pack. It's really strange. If you guys go back, anyone who's watching this after the fact, go back to our previous packs and See which pack, and let's know in the comments below which other pack was the same as this. We got a Restore Arc 170, again, one of my favorite 2 drops. Mining Guild TIE Fighter. I don't really like this card. On attack, pay 2 resources if you do draw a card. If you need card draw, it's only a 1-drop and you're paying 2 resources to draw a card. So if you really need, this may get more play in the future. I don't know, but I've never really seen anyone run this card. Another maximum firepower. We have a, oh wow. And then we have maximum firepower in hyperspace right after it. That looks so nice. Look at the, hold those up together. Look at the difference between the two. You get so much more of a wider perspective just by having the border gone. It looks so nice. The borders on the original cards, the standard cards, they're a little bit thick, but once you remove that, those hyperspaces are beautiful. That's really cool. I think we should be coming up on a unique now. Yep, first unique here. We got shoot first. Great card for any yellow deck. You deal an additional damage, and if you kill that defender, if you kill that defender with this attack, you take no damage in return. Because you know, Han shot first. Next unique here, we got Bright Hope. This is one of my favorite Sentinels for space. It's a 4-drop Sentinel, so it's a pretty big Sentinel. You get 6 health on him, and when played, you can return a friendly non-leader ground unit back to its owner's hand. If you do, you draw a card. So if you have a unit that you don't want to die, or if you want to be able to play another wing leader to get that 2 experience out again, you can pick that wing leader up. Allows you to redeploy him again if you have the resources to, giving another 2 experience to something. And it lets you draw a card if you do it as well. Or if you have a damaged unit and you want to get it back to your hand to remove the damage so you can replay it, great option as well. Great artwork on that too. Next unique here, we got Force Choke. It's a really great card. I really like Force Choke in a Force build, like if you're doing a Vader Force build or something like that. If you control a Force unit, it costs 1 less to play as well. So it's coming out as a 1-drop, and you basically can deal 5 damage to any, very keyword here, non-vehicle unit. And then they get to draw a card though as the side effect. We have a rare, first rare of the pack, Emperor Palpatine. I love Palpatine. It's such a good card. He's very expensive. He's an 8-drop, but he's very strong. 6/6. He's got Overwhelm, and whenever you play him, you get to immediately deal 6 damage divided as you see fit. So he is a small card killer. He is a killer of cards that are damaged, any units that are damaged. He's just very good. And all that excess damage, if they only have 1 unit out that has 1 health, you're doing 5 damage on their base because of that overwhelm as well. We have a foil. This is our next unique here. We got Foil the Force is With Me. That looks pretty cool in foil as well. Force is With Me is an interesting card. You basically give a friendly unit 2 experience tokens, and if you control Force, you also give it a shield, and then you may attack with the chosen unit all at once. It's a 4-drop though, so I think that's kind of expensive to give 2 experience and a shield. I don't know. Shields don't have a lot of value in my opinion because a lot of different types of removal can just bypass shields. So I feel like shields are they don't get a lot of play in my opinion. They need to find some way to make shields a little bit better. So that is pack 6, if I was counting correct. So those will be set aside, and that will be the pool of cards if we do a sealed league in the future that he'll be able to pick from. So now we're going to move on to our next pack here. We got Thrawn. These next 6 packs will comprise what would be his cards that he could use for his second deck in the sealed league. So he's starting off with a Sabine. I'm not a fan of Sabine. You can hate me all you want for saying that, but a lot of people like Sabine because she comes out early. If you can keep her alive, it can be very aggressive, but in my opinion, Leia's just better. I don't want to damage my own base. Base here, we got Echo Base, speaking of bases. And we'll fly right through these comments here. We got Alliance X-Wing. Really nice 2-drop. It's got 3 health. Our next common here, we got Repair. You basically just 1-drop to heal 3 damage from your base. Next common, we got Womp. I've never seen anyone play this at all. It's it's a very cool card. I really like it. I like the artwork on it, but I've never seen anyone play it. Hopefully in the future we see some more interactions with the creature keyword, but he's got Overwhelm, so he's got that going for him. Super Laser Tech, the bane of my existence for any for any control Vader deck, because this is going to allow a ramp. Basically, when he's defeated, he goes into play as a ready resource. Very powerful. Yeah, Roger's saying he's the Death Star DJ. That's right. Our next common here, we have Cloud City Wingguard. He's a Sentinel. It's another Sentinel that you can play, which I always like Sentinels, but he's kind of weak in my opinion because he only does 2 damage. I prefer the Echo Base Defender. Another common Spec Force Soldier. This is great if you play it correctly. A lot of people, myself included, would just throw him out there just to get a unit on the board because he only costs 1. But it's really best if you hold them until your opponent plays Sentinel, because he can remove that Sentinel for this phase, allowing all of your other cards to swing into the base if you need to get that little bit of damage to finish off your opponent. Bounty Hunting Crew. I've debated back and forth whether this should go into my Boba deck or not. It's kind of an interesting card. It's a big card. It's 6, but they're kind of anemic in my opinion for the cost. They only do 4 damage and have 4 health, but they have ambush. They come out swinging, and when played, you may return an event from your discard pile into your hand, which could be very beneficial. So they're probably better than I'm giving them credit for, but again, in my opinion, they're a little anemic for being a 6 drop. Next comment here, we got Restock. Choose up to 4 cards in your discard pile and basically put them on the bottom of your owner's deck. Very good to avoid getting milled by a mill deck. Because you got to remember, if you run out of cards, for every card that you cannot draw, that you are supposed to draw, you take 3 damage on base. So that could be devastating. If you get milled out by someone who's playing, like, I think it's Vigilance that lets you discard 6 cards from your opponent's deck. And if you're playing Specters where they're having you discard a bunch of stuff, you may really want to have some restocks in your sideboard, which will allow you to avoid just getting milled out of existence. Snapshot Reflexes. This is actually a pretty decent card in my opinion. I have not really played it too much yet, but you attach it. It only costs 1. You attach it as an upgrade. And remember, this is not an event, so it won't work with Bib, but basically you attach this to a unit. You're giving it +1/+1, so you're essentially giving it an experience, and you get to attack with it. So it doesn't. You don't have to do 2 turns in order to get that attack off with that extra damage. We have our first unique, Fifth Brother, one of my favorite cards. I love the artwork. I love what he does. It's kind of a confusing card. So he's a 3-drop, works great with Grand Inquisitor because he's got 4 health. Grand Inquisitor can deal 2 damage to him, which will allow him to be played and then immediately readied. And that 2 damage that you just put on him to ready him will now make him do 4 damage with his raid. So he'll be dealing 4 damage. And the confusing part for me was trying to basically understand how his on attack worked. So his on attack is you may deal 1 damage to this unit and 1 damage to another ground unit. The on attacks resolve at the same time as the attack. So basically, you could ready him with Grand Inquisitor by dealing 2 damage to him. Now he's doing 4 damage. When you go to swing with him, you are dealing an additional damage to him. So now he has 3 damage on him and he has 2 base damage. So he's swinging for 5 immediately, but he only has 1 health left. So if they don't answer that and get rid of him, normally Fifth Brother gets removed very early on because people can't really afford to let him live. But the thing is, when he's defending, his raid is not grit. So it is a special type of raid, basically. He's getting grit in the form of raid, or he's getting grit in the form of raid. So it doesn't work when he's defending. But again, one of my favorite cards. Love the artwork. I cannot wait to see what other Inquisitor cards we get in the future. Roger's saying it's one of his favorite cards to steal with Traitorous. Yeah, that would be very, very powerful. So for our next unique here, we got Takedown. Takedown's very powerful. Defeat a unit with 5 health or less, and that works on leaders. So I think Sabine comes out at 5, right? 5 health? I'm not sure. Let's see. Is she 5 health? Yep, so that's one of the Sabine's weaknesses. She could be taken out with takedown. You could basically just take her down immediately and she's gone. So she's very susceptible to some control decks. That's what I was talking about though with shields. Takedown just doesn't matter if you have a million shields. Takedown just removes you. So that's why I feel like shields are a little bit lackluster right now. Next unique here, we got Chewbacca. Chewbacca's an awesome unit. He's a 5-drop. He's got 3 health and or he's got 6 health and does 3 damage. He is Sentinel, and whenever he takes damage, he gets readied. So if he doesn't get killed immediately, like if you play him and somebody wants to hit you because they need to get the rest of their damage off, and they only do, let's say, like 2 damage to him, he's now ready, and he gets to deal 3 damage to something else. So he get a lot of value out of Chewbacca. Sorry about the quality here. Looks like the bitrate is tanking quite heavily. Um, let's see if it can resolve a little bit. If not, we'll do a quick break, and we may have to restart the stream coming from Roger's end. But this looks like Heroic Strike is a rare. It's one of my favorite cards. Heroic Strike is pretty good. You basically get to deal 2 damage for an attack, if I recall correctly, and it kills the unit that you're attacking with. Gladiator Star Destroyer in foil. Not bad. I like Gladiator Star Destroyer. It's pretty interesting card. You get to give another unit Sentinel, if I recall correctly. I can't actually read it right now because the stream is tanking on the bit rate. We may need to take a pause to resolve this, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, but that was pack number 7. We are actually going to take a quick break here. I'm going to put up my returning soon, and I'm going to see if we can't get this bit rate resolved really quick. Bear with us for 1 second. All right, we are back. Sorry about that. Looks like we got the stream bitrate fixed again, but can you move it down just a tiny bit, Roger? We see the edges of your mount a little bit more, tiny bit more, just a little hair more, I think, and we should be good. That looks pretty good right there. Maybe go to the left a tiny bit. There you go. Perfect. All right, we're back in action. Sorry about that, guys. We cleared up the bit rate, so it should be a little more clear. Now, I didn't want to go too much further with it being too blurry because I didn't want to ruin the experience. So what number pack is this? We are on to pack number 7? 8. Pack 8. Yeah, here we go. Good luck, Roger. Let's see what we get. Got Churret for the leader. Churret's an interesting leader. You basically you can do something with Churret. That's the nice thing about him, because he won't die that phase. He'll die at the end of the phase, but he's just nice because you get to get something off. Castro City for our base. Infiltrator skill again. Another Battlefield Marine. Again, one of my favorite cards. Nice artwork too. Another Rebel Pathfinder. I believe, yep, another Make an Opening. One of the other packs that you opened had this same run of cards. Yep, Cantina Braggett. It's very strange how that happens. It's like they get printed in runs. Another, yep, look, it's this exact same pack as one that we just opened. Different leader, different base. I don't know if it had Crafty Smuggler. So yeah, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards in a row that were the same as another pack's run. So there's like 5 card runs in packs that are identical. It's very strange. I don't know if Crafty Smuggler was next in that other pack, but I don't think it was actually. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is Roger's saying too. I think this is the first Crafty Smuggler. I really like Crafty Smuggler. It's a 2/2/2 and it comes out shielded. And it's just really nice 2-drop. Rogue Operative again. Another volunteer soldier. For our first unique, tie advance. This card is very interesting. So it's a 4-drop. It has 3 damage and 2 health. So it's a little anemic on its own stats, but its main benefit is going to be where you get to, when it's played, you get to give 2 experience tokens. So if you really need to get some extra XP on something, you play a tie advance and just dump 2 XP on it. It really kind of works good, in my opinion, in a Tarkin deck where you're giving experience to things anyways. But all of that experience has to go to an Imperial unit, and they both experience tokens must go to this same unit. So that's one of the downsides of it. Yeah, Roger's saying it's kind of like a combination of X-Wing and Wing Leader. All right, we have our first distant patroller for our next unique here. 2/2/1, and when defeated, you may give a shield token to another blue unit. It's another vigilance unit. I've never seen this really played. Again, with shields being so bad in my opinion, I don't expect to ever really see this get played unless that changes. Cartel Spacer. I like this card. Some people say it's not as good as it could be, but for a 2-drop, if you control another cunning unit, you basically get to exhaust an enemy unit that costs 4 or less when played. So you get value out of it as soon as you drop it in. If you just need to prevent a little bit of damage to control the board a little bit, drop in a Cartel Spacer. For our first rare here, we have Fallen Lightsaber. I love this card. The artwork's great. And it's a very, very strong upgrade. It's a 3/3/3 upgrade, and if you attach it to Force, whenever they deal damage, combat damage, they deal 1 damage to each and every ground unit of the defending player's area. So very, very strong upgrade. And for the foil, we have a common Jawa Scavenger. Doesn't look too bad. Those little Jawas are pretty interesting. They have Saboteur, and they come out at 1, so. All right, on to pack number 9. I'm going to lose track at some point, so I'll eventually probably stop keeping track. So as long as Roger, make sure you just keep track of every 6 packs. Make sure they're set in the same pile, so that way you know what's going on. Here we go for our next pack. Another Jin Urso, Chopper base. I love the artwork on that base. Steadfast Battalion. This is a really interesting card. I like it because it's a 5/5/5 that comes out with it has overwhelm. And on attack, if you control a leader unit, you give a friendly unit +2/+2. That's every attack. So it could work pretty good with Leia. You have Leia out there because she comes out pretty early, and you just get to keep giving +2 to other units. He's saying, Roger's saying it's really good to put with Energy Conversion Lab. All right, we have Cargo Juggernaut for our next card here. It's a 6/4/6, comes out shielded, and if you control another vigilance unit, you heal 4 damage from your base. So it gives you a little bit of recovery in the mid to late game. You can get a little bit of that recovery to heal off your base. Keep fighting. I've never really used this too much, but I can see how it would have a lot of good synergy with maybe you're doing like a Grand Inquisitor deck. You can ready, but here's the kicker with it. You can ready a unit with 3 or less power. That I'm pretty sure that includes all of their power. So if they have upgrades on them or anything, they're no longer a 3 power. So even like Fifth Brother, he comes out, he's 3 power. No, I think he's actually. I think he might be. No, I think he's 2 or 3. I think he's 3. But you could ready him if he doesn't have any other like upgrades or anything on him. So as soon as you give an upgrade, you can no longer use this. So it's in my opinion, it's kind of limited in its play. He's saying, Roger's saying you could using that if you're playing Red Leia, you could ready Leia twice as long as she doesn't have any upgrades on her, which is very true, yeah. But again, very niche use case scenario there. Our next card here we have Escort Skiff. I like this card, but I don't really see it being used too much. It's a 4/4/4. If you control another green unit, it gains ambush. So ambush is always nice to just immediately play it and get some value out of it. Vigilant Honor Guards. They are a 5/4/6, and while this unit is undamaged, it gains Sentinel. So it's a little bit picky with when it gets its Sentinel, but it is a pretty strong Sentinel. So if you play that, as long as he's not hurt, it basically allows you to have a single hit where they cannot hit your base. So very kind of niche, but still pretty strong Sentinel. Asteroid Sanctuary. I love Asteroid Sanctuary. It's one of my favorite event cards for yellow. You basically exhaust an enemy and you give a shield to a friendly unit that costs 3 or less. I mean, and the main thing is like exhausting an enemy unit, because if you exhaust an enemy unit, they can't attack with it now. So you prevent a little bit of damage and you give a shield. So win-win in my book. Next here, we got a Snow Trooper Lieutenant. I absolutely love this card in any Imperial Trooper deck because you plop him down and he's basically like a Fleet Lieutenant. You get to just attack with another Imperial and do two more damage. I think he's literally a carbon copy of Fleet Lieutenant. He just lets you do 2 damage, 2 additional damage with a unit. So you have to have another unit in play, but another Mining Guild TIE Fighter. We have a hyperspace volunteer soldier. That is nice. I like how you notice here too, the raid 1 does not have a long explanation. On the fancier cards, they do not put long descriptions on them. It would be kind of nice to see something like reduced on the box itself down there so you could really get some full cover art on them. But it's nice that they just cut down on the wordage, because you're going to know what raid 1 means eventually after you play the game for a while. For our unique here, we have Overwhelming Barrage. Great card. This card is kind of like the bane of a lot of people's existence. It's if you're not using it, you hate it. If you're using it, you love it. It's a 5-drop. You give a friendly unit +2/+2 for this phase. Then it deals damage equal to its power divided as you choose among other units. Super, super powerful. If you put that on anything that's hitting even remotely hard, you're divvying up that damage wherever you want, and you take nothing in return because it's the event that's doing the damage. Super, super strong. We have Sabine for our next unique. I really, really like Sabine. Some people don't think that she's as strong as she could be. I think as we see the Spectre cards and the Mandalorian cards and even the Rebel cards get fleshed out some more, she's gonna be even stronger. She's only gonna get better as those card pools get expanded. But she is a 2/2/3, and if you control at least three other aspects among friendly units, she cannot be targeted. But it says the stipulation unless she gains Sentinel. I've never actually seen anyone give Sabine Sentinel, but you can give Sentinel through different means to units. But it's really nice. Her on attack, you get to deal 1 damage to the defender or to a base. So it's you can basically finish off a unit or get it at 1 extra damage on a base. For our unique, we got Protector, it's double vigilance, and speak of giving something Sentinel, you attach this to a unit and it becomes Sentinel. And it also gives it +1/+1. It's kind of nice because it's only a 1 drop. Oh, we got a rare U-Wing Reinforcement. This is one of Roger's favorite cards. He's actually saying this is the best card ever. That's a little bit debatable if it's the best card ever, but Roger really likes this one. It's a 7 drop. It's green and heroism. So you have command heroism here. You get to search the top 10 cards of your deck for up to 3 units with a combined cost of 7 or less and play each of them for free. You basically put them all into play and then you shuffle and put the rest of those cards on the bottom of your deck. The nice thing about this is you don't have to pay out of aspect penalty when you play cards this way. And that's what Roger's really been leaning into with his Leia deck. He's doing double green Leia, and this works. It works fantastic, honestly. And for our for our foil, we have Carillion Freighter. Not bad. I always like the getting the extra treatments on these space cards because those have some of the most beautiful art in my opinion. We are cruising right along through this box. Damn, not a showcase Boba, but Boba nonetheless. We got Boba Leader and Administrator's Tower for our base here. First common, Death Trooper, another Death Trooper. Another Wampa. Another Super Laser Technician. Lion's X-Wing. Another Repair. I think we've had Disarm before. Yeah, I talked about Disarm, how you could just basically prevent some damage early on in the game. Viper Probe Droid. Again, really nice to look at your opponent's hand. Bounty Hunting Crew. That looks really nice actually. Consortium Star Viper in hyperspace. It's a common, but that's nice. The ships and vehicles look great in hyperspace. Anything looks great in hyperspace, but the vehicles especially. It's our first uniques, 97th Legion. This card, I like this card, but I haven't really seen it played, and I'm not sure where it would fit into any Imperial Trooper deck, but it costs 7 and it gets +1/+1 for each resource you control. So it comes out as a 7/7 and it gets stronger as you put more resources into play. So that might actually be good in a Palpatine where you're just you're ramping really hard and you're trying to get as many resources into play as you can. That might work pretty good in there, but I like the card nonetheless. We have another unique here, Forced Surrender. This card costs a lot, in my opinion. It's an event that costs 6. You draw 2 cards. Each opponent whose bases you've damaged this phase discards 2 cards from their hand. It probably could be really good in Twin Suns where there's a lot of opponents on the board and you're milling everybody. Like you're not really milling them, but you're just making them chuck cards out of their hand. So it could be good, but it comes out you have to pay 6 for it, which is kind of steep in my opinion. I guess it costs 6 because you get to do it to every other enemy. So yeah, I guess that's where it's justifying its cost if you're playing in Twin Suns. So we got a hyperspace here. Is that a rare? It's hard to tell if that's a R. Looks like a rare. All right, we got a hyperspace rare. Nice. Hyperspace Obi-Wan. That is so nice. Look at that. I love that. That's a great card. That's a great looking card. And then for our foil, a rare. I think this is the foil coming up. We got a rare. Oh no, it's not the foil yet. We have a rare frontline shuttle. So this card really intrigues me, but I've never messed with it too much, and I haven't seen anyone else really play it. It's a 2-drop. It's only got 1 health, or it's got 3 health but 1 damage. And as an action, you can defeat this unit and attack with a unit even if it's exhausted. And if it can, but it can't attack bases. So it's almost like it gives something ambush like immediately as its action. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting card. I like it in concept, but I'd have to really see how we could make that work. But it's a cool card. So we got another rare coming up, and I think this is the foil. Yep. Admiral Akbar in foil. That looks really nice too. So this is a 3-drop. He only does 1 damage, but he's got 4 health, so he's kind of tanky. He has restore 1, so he's just constantly healing. And here's the really nice part. He kind of works like a strike true or another form of removal as well. Because when you play him, if you have, let's say, 2 other ground units, you can deal 3 damage to another unit that your defender has in that same arena. So it's really quite nice. You know what? It actually makes me wonder if in the future there will be cards that could be ground or space. That would be really interesting. Ground or space. You get to choose which arena you could put it into. That would be something really. That'd be something really cool for them to put into the game. It'd have to be limited because you don't want to completely destroy the distinguishment between space and ground arena. But Roger's saying they may do something like they do in Lorcana with the lands, where maybe you can deploy some type of spaceship and then you can like move units over to that spaceship or something too. That'd be really interesting. All right, I've lost count anymore. I don't know what pack number we're on, but Roger's keeping track. He thinks we're up to 11, but let's hope for a showcase. Love how easy these packs open. They do leave like a little dust behind. I don't know if you noticed. Like you get a little bit of like shiny particles on your hands from opening these up. Director Krennic, really great leader. Basically every damage unit is just hitting for 1 more damage, uh, all the time. He's really great. Catacombs of Kadera as our base. We have an agitator here. So agitator is a pretty interesting card. I don't really play them that much, but they are a rebel. So they are a 2-drop that does 2 damage and has 1 health, but they are Saboteur. Saboteur is really nice because you basically defeat shields and then you deal combat damage. So the shields are basically ignored, or you could completely bypass Sentinel. And on attack, if you control a leader unit, deal 2 damage to a ground unit or base. Works. I would probably think that'd work pretty good with Sabine because Sabine comes out so early that would be pretty devastating. Alliance Dispatcher. I like Alliance Dispatcher. Not a lot of people like it. He's a 1-drop. He's only does 1 damage and has 2 health, so he's kind of squishy. You need to somehow give him survivability or put him out behind a Sentinel or something like that. But he almost acts as Sentinel because his action is you can exhaust him and play a unit from your hand and it costs 1 less. So it's like soft ramp. It's like temporary ramp almost. But yeah, people normally take him out really quick. So he almost acts as Sentinel if you need to like absorb a hit, or if you want to try and help, if you have something where you can help him live and you get some units out there for a little bit less. I got a lot of value out of some of the Alliance Dispatchers that I played. Snowspeeder. So Snowspeeder is a 5-drop, 3 health. I always say the health first. 3 damage, 6 health, and he is ambush. So he just gets to ambush. He just attacks right into a unit immediately. Cannot be a base, has to be a unit. And on attack, I think the reason Snowspeeder doesn't get a lot of play just yet is because I haven't seen a lot of ground vehicles be played, but he can exhaust an enemy ground vehicle. So as ground vehicles, as the card pool gets fleshed out and as ground vehicles become more prevalent, he'll just get to exhaust them. I think right now he's for like the walkers and stuff. You can just exhaust those. Resilient. I like this upgrade. It only costs one, and you get to give something 3 more health. Very simple, very straightforward. Pretty strong in my opinion. Next common, Death Star Stormtrooper, one of my favorite one drops. He hits really hard, but he's very squishy. I'm surprised they can hit anything, but yeah, really great. I like the artwork on it too. Really great one drop. Next common, Academy Training. When I first started playing this game, I was playing Tarkin, and I thought that this was an amazing card. Turns out it's really not that great to put all of your eggs in one basket, so that's why I'm not a huge fan of Academy Training. But again, as the card pool expands, this could see more play. It's not a bad card still. Giving something +2/+2, you're basically giving it 2 experience for 2 resources all at once. Works pretty good with Tarkin. Next common here, we got an Insurgent. This is a 2-drop that has 3 damage and 2 health. They are a rebel, so they can be, synergized with Leia there a little bit. And when played, if you played another card this phase, each opponent draws a card, then discards a random card from their hand. I don't see the value in that as much as maybe some other people will. That's why I don't really run this card that much, but Confiscate, basically a 1-drop, defeat an upgrade. Very straightforward. Very good if you have something on you, like if someone entrenches you or something, you can just defeat that upgrade with this as well. Surprise Strike. This is one of my favorite cards. So it costs 2, and you get to attack with a unit. It gets +3 for that attack. It's very, very strong. It lets you get a lot of damage, gets a lot of pressure rolling right away. We have our first unique, Ezra. This card is pretty strong in my opinion. It's a 3-drop, 3 damage, 4 health. When this unit completes an attack, look at the top card of your deck. You may play it, discard it, or leave it on the top of your deck. He's a Spectre, so if you play him with Hera, you could play him off aspect. And you must remember that when you are looking at that top card and you're considering playing it, it's very important to know that you still need to pay the cost to play that card. So you must have enough resources, but you can overwhelm your enemy very easily by using Ezra. So we have another unique coming up here. It's probably a attack pattern delta. I could tell by I saw the walker's legs there. So again, yep, gives up the 3, 2, and 1. Ooh, what do we got here? A rare hyperspace Emperor Palpatine. That is cool. I love that. Very awesome how his lightning comes off to the side and then the little streaks of the hyperspace almost just enhance that. Another rare coming up. What do we got here? Electro Staff. I love Electro Staff. I actually need one more Electro Staff, but I don't think Roger has ever pulled an Electro Staff, if I'm correct. This is a great upgrade, though. 2-drop. He does have 1 regular foil Electro Staff. 2-drop gives 2 health and 2 damage to a unit. Where it really shines is that while the attached unit is defending, the attacker that is attacking you, so like, your card's defending, you're getting attacked, it does -1 damage to you. So really good on Fifth Brother. I've seen a lot of people put these on Fifth Brother as an upgrade, and it's devastating because it makes them last longer. And when they have that grit on them, well, it's not really grit, it's more like grit raid, but this works really good on them. Love that upgrade. It only costs 2. We have a foil cargo juggernaut. Nice artwork on that. Rogers and informed, yeah, this is pack number 12. So this is going to be the last pack that's going to be for his second deck if we do a sealed league. Leader Chewbacca. Chewbacca is really good. He comes out as a sentinel. Flip him over. Let's see the other side on him. So he's a big boy. He's got 9 health. Comes out on 7. He really, really strong. He's got grit. So with that 9 health, he's very hard to remove unless you have a lot of removal. So if you have true strikes and things like that, or open fire, you can kind of help whittle him down. But if you don't take him out before he has the opportunity to attack with all of that grit that he's stacked up, grit's really nice because every damage on him gets turned into damage that he gets to do. Really strong. And then on his leader side, you can exhaust him to basically give a 3-drop Sentinel for the phase. So you can prevent a lot of damage before he even is able to come out. We got Command Center there. That's good artwork on that base. I really like that. Another First Legion Snow Trooper. So again, they have that Overwhelm, helps you finish off a target. Vanguard Infantry. Cloud City Wingguard. Not my favorite Sentinel. Keep fighting. Next common here, another Alliance Dispatcher. Cargo Juggernaut. Restock. Swoop Racer. Another common, Asteroid Sanctuary. I think we're coming up on the unique. Yep, we sure are. Forces with Me. I think we talked about Forces with Me. But I don't know if we did. It's 4-drop. Choose a friendly unit, give it 2 experience. And if you control force, you also give a shield token to it, and then you can attack. I'm pretty sure we did talk about that. I remember. I feel like I just had deja vu. Yeah, Roger informed me. He did. He pulled a foil on that. We have our next unique here. We have a pirated starfighter. This card really intrigues me. I want to see how this unfolds here. So it's a 2-drop, 2 damage, 4 health, a little bit tanky. It's got raid, and when played, see, here's the part that throws me off with it though. When played, return a friendly non-leader unit to its owner's hand. Friendly means that it has to be friendly to you. You can't do it to your opponent, but it's not a you may return a friendly leader. It's return a friendly leader. So you must do it when you play it. If it was you may, I would probably throw this in a lot more decks, but you have to do it. Got another Overwhelming Barrage in here. Overwhelming Barrage. You can never have enough of those. Those are so good. We have a rare. It's gonna be Relentless. This is an interesting card. This actually comes in the Vader starter deck. So if you want to get your hands on a Relentless and you want to get one for sure, you can get the 2-player starter deck for Spark of Rebellion. But it's a 9-drop, huge card, costs 9, comes out swinging at 8, has 8 health, Imperial Vehicle Capital Ship, and the first event you play, the the first event played by each opponent each round loses all abilities. So if you need to stop abilities from rolling out, you throw out a Relentless. And for the foil, we have Recruit. That looks pretty nice. So we're roughly halfway through this box, and we are an hour and a half into the stream. Again, we're going to be going a little bit faster on a lot of the commons that we've already given an explanation on now. And we're going to be digging for those juicy rares and legendaries. Another Chewbacca. Got Swamp here for our base. First common, Scout Bike Pursuer. So we haven't seen one of these yet. Scout Bike Pursuer seems to be a little more on the rare side. They're still a common, but they're on the more rare side of common in my opinion. They're really good with any type of deck where you're trying to hurt your own units. They work really good with Fifth Brother. Grand Inquisitor is great for him because you play him on turn 1. He's a 2-drop. So you play him turn 1. He only does 1 damage though, right? And he comes out exhausted like everything else, but he's got 4 health. So you hit him with Grand Inquisitor to put 2 damage on him, and you swing into the enemy's base for 3 damage right out the gate. Really, really strong opener. Probably the strongest opener in the game, I would say. Then we got a Ardent Sympathizer. I don't think we've seen one of these yet. He's a 3-drop, comes out at 3/3. So he's a little bit weaker in my opinion than the Marine or the Battlefield Marine, because Battlefield Marine only costs 2. But the nice thing about him is if you know you're going to be able to control initiative, you're doing 2 additional damage with him. You're swinging for 5. That's hurting. Regional Sympathizers. This is a great card if you trying to restore a lot of damage. It costs 4, comes out swinging for 3, and has 4 health. And every time you hit, you're restoring 2. It's kind of a big deal, that restore 2. Patrolling V-Wing. So it's a 2-drop, 1/1. Basically, it's just for card draw. Whenever you play these, you get to draw a card. If you're playing something that lets you return units to your hand, you get to play it again, which gives you additional card draw. But it costs 2. If it was a 1 cost, it'd probably be overpowered. So I think it's sitting in a pretty good spot if you need card draw. Moment of Peace. Basically, spend 1 resource, give a shield. But again, with shields being as underwhelming as they are right now, It's not very good. Occupier Siege Tank. This card I'm not a huge fan of because it has grit, but it only has 4 health. So it's not living very long, and it's a freaking tank. So why does it only have 4 health? I'm not sure. But it has a higher base damage of most grit units, so it's actually probably not bad. I think that's why it has less health. Most grit units have less damage coming out of the gate, but more health. This is like the inverse. So I don't like it because it has such little health. It's so easy to take out. But nevertheless, Occupier Siege Tank. Cell Block Guard. This is one of my favorite Sentinels, although in the next set, it's getting completely just replaced with the next 3-drop Sentinel, because the next 3-drop Sentinel is 3/3/3, and it has additional, I don't remember exactly what it does, but it has additional wordage on it where it does something else. But Cell Block Guard is a great Sentinel, in my opinion. ISB Agent. How do I feel about ISB Agent? So it's a 1-drop, only does 1 damage, that's 3 health. You're basically doing it because when played, you can reveal an event from your hand. If you do, you deal 1 damage to a unit. You can finish something off with that damage. It can only go into a unit, though. You can't do it to a base. I don't feel like that 1 damage is going to help you right out the gate, and I think that's why a lot of people don't play it. Got a hyperspace coming up. Hyperspace seasoned shore trooper. That looks really nice because you get to see a lot more of the beach. The ones with nice backdrops like that, and then you get them in hyperspace, they just look so nice. Got our first unique. We got 2 tubes here. Benthic 2 tubes. I really like Benthic 2 tubes in a Leia red because he only costs 1. He's doing 2 damage himself, and he has 2 health. So he's a little on the squishy side, but again, he only costs 1, so he's coming out real early. And on attack, another friendly aggression unit, red unit, gets raid 2 for this phase. It works really well with Leia because you can activate Leia and then you get to attack with 2 rebels. He's a rebel, and you can put, if it's another aggression unit that you're attacking with this phase, you can attack with him first, do the 2 damage to something, and then your other red rebel is going to get to hit for an additional 2 damage. So you're putting out quite a bit of damage really early on. Gives a lot of pressure. Another unique coming up here. Inferno 4. This is a pretty strong card in my opinion because it's a 2/2/3, and when played and when defeated, so you're getting value out of immediately. And then if they choose to take it out and you don't get to attack with it, you're getting double value. You look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put any number of them on the bottom, and the rest on the top in any order. And here is the counterpart to General Veers. I think General Veers is better in my opinion because General Dodonna is 4/4/4, and he does the exact same thing as Veers. He gives +1/+1 to all other rebels. But you're really playing Veers and Dodonna because you want to get their +1/+1. Veers comes out sooner. Sure, he doesn't have as much health or hit as hard, but he comes out sooner, and that's the important part because you're not really using them for their damage and health. You just need them to stay alive, but it's really their bonus they're giving to everyone else, which is that +1/+1. We have our rare here, and it's Han Solo. I've yet to pull a Han Solo. Han Solo is an awesome card in my opinion. He's really, really strong. Costs 7, but he has 6 health and 6 damage. He gets ambush, and the real nice thing about it is it's kind of like a double whammy with that ambush because Han Solo, while attacking, he deals combat damage before the defender. So if you kill whatever you come out ambushing, you take no damage and you still have full 6 health. He's amazing. And then for our foil here, we got hyperspace foil restock. That's a cool looking card right there. Not mad about that. All right, going on to our next pack. Congrats on that Han Solo. That's really cool. I gotta get some Hans. I gotta get some Hans. All right, starting off with Krennic and a hyperspace administrator's tower. It's nice artwork on that. Spec Force Soldier. The bit rate's starting to suffer a little bit here. Must just be something with this setup we got going on, but unless we get to some new cards, we'll probably go forward with this for a little bit. We got another Steadfast Battalion here, another Vigilant Honor Guard, another Agitator, another Snow Speeder, Gladiator Star Destroyer, Snow Trooper Lieutenant, again giving that +2 to another Imperial. Great card. Snapshot Reflexes. Another common. We got another Insurgent here. I think the unique is coming up. Yep, we have a first unique. We have Carabast. So Carabast is a 2-drop. A friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit equal to the amount of damage that on the friendly unit +1. So it's basically if you have a lot of damage on you, you can return that damage. You don't really return it, but you just use that as the number that you're using to deal damage to another unit. So it's pretty good event. I'm not sure how the event having Spectre attached to it really. I guess it matters because does that work with Hera, or is Hera only she can play out of aspect Spectre units? If it's events also, that could work pretty good with Hera playing it out of off aspect. Got another unique coming up. We got Baze. I like Baze as long as you have initiative. He has Sentinel and he's got grit. He's a 4/2/5 with grit and Sentinel as long as you have initiative, which could make seizing or claiming initiative early pretty beneficial, honestly. Another unique here, we got Vanguard Ace. I like the artwork on Vanguard Ace. It's a 2/1/1, very weak at first, but for each other card you played this phase, you give an experience token to it. So it gets buffed based on how many other, it's basically really good in Swarm, but my favorite thing about it is it says New Republic as a keyword. I cannot wait to see more New Republic keyword cards. Is that a legendary? Legendary coming up. Vigilance. Nice. That is Roger's first Vigilance. That is a great card. So Vigilance is really cool. It's a 4-drop. It's double Vigilance aspect. So if you're playing it off aspect, you'll have to pay 2 extra. And you get to choose 2 in any order. So a lot of these, well, I think a lot of the double aspect cards that are these events, I think all of them actually, they let you choose 2 things. So Vigilance lets you discard 6 cards from an opponent's deck, or heal 5 damage from their base. It's a little blurry. Defeat a unit with 5 or less HP, and or give a shield token to a unit. You're never going to give the shield token, so you're doing one of those other 3 things, but you get to do 2 of them in any order that you want. So you can just, if you're trying to mill somebody, make them discard 6, or you're, just dealing 5 damage to a base and defeating a unit. That's probably the 2 most common ones, or the middle ones there. But that's great. Great pull. And our uncommon AT-AT suppressor in foil. That looks great. I love the rainbow foil. I guess they call it surge foil now. That comes on all of in the weekly plays. Those look awesome. I almost wish everything was surge foil, but then it wouldn't make it as unique and it probably wouldn't be as big of a deal. But I just really like how that surge foil looks. All right, moving on to our next pack. Come on, showcase. Not a showcase, but we got Leia. I've been talking a lot about Leia. She works really good with Rebel cards. And we got a Hyperspace Catacombs. Looks like the bitrate cleared up a little bit, so that's good. Another Gladiator Star Destroyer. Again, these cards that we've seen, we're going to be going a little faster through. Vanquish is great. Just basically defeat any card that's not a leader. Partisan Insurgent. This is kind of an interesting little 2-drop card. So it's a 2/1/4, and while you control another red unit, this unit gains raid 2. So then it'll be dealing 3 damage. Very straightforward. It's a Rebel Trooper. Tactical Advantage. So 1-drop, and you basically get to give a +2/+2 to one of your units for this phase. Very straightforward. Nice little event. Guardian of the Wills. I really like this card because they are Force. If you notice, they have the Force Fringe keywords on them. It's a 2-drop. They're a 2/2 health, 2 health, 2 damage, and the first upgrade you play on this unit costs 1 less. So if you're trying to put any number of upgrades on them, it's really great. You can give them lightsabers, and they can benefit from the force that's attached to that. So really, really great 2-drop if you're using it in a force build. Gorilla Attack Pod. I love using this with Leia. It's mid to end game. You get to bring this out. It's a 6/4/6. It has grit, and when played, if there's 15 or more damage on a base, this comes out readied, which is great. Corellian Freighter. This is the generic 5/4/4 Sentinel for space that has no aspect. I like the artwork on it, nevertheless. Outer Rim Headhunter. This is a 2/1/3 fringe vehicle fighter. It has raid 1, so it's dealing 2 damage when it attacks. And on attack, if you control a leader unit, you can exhaust a non-leader unit. So I like that aspect. I haven't really seen it get played too much. I could see it working pretty good with Boba, though. We got our Gamorrean guards here. So 4/4/4, and if you control another cunning, it gains Sentinel. Can never have too many Sentinels. We have another Cartel Spacer. I really like that card. First unique, another Mon Mothma. Got a rare, or no, that's another unique. We have Ruthless Raider. I love this card. Again, you're getting value out of when you play it and when it gets defeated. It's a 6-drop, so it's, mid game, end game kinda. It does 4 damage, 6 health, so it's got some staying power. When you play it and when it gets defeated, you're getting value out of it. That value is 2 damage to an enemy base and 2 damage to an enemy unit. So you just get to ping 2 damage off 2 things. It's great. We have is that a rare? I think I had no choice. It's a rare, and it's a 7 cost event. Choose up to 2 non-leader units. An opponent chooses one of these units and returns it to its owner's hand, and they put the other on the bottom of their deck, of its owner's deck. I've never really seen too many people play. Is that a legendary? Oh, uncommon coming. It almost looked like a legendary to me. We got another uncommon coming up now. And it is a Cartel Spacer in foil. Looking good. I have a feeling. So this is a theory that I've kind of figured out that the it's kind of controversial saying it because I don't want to tip too many people off and have ruin some people's days by people going to and taking the bottom packs, but the bottom packs in boxes tend to have more legendaries, in my opinion. They have more of the good cards. I don't know if that, we'll see if that's true. That's why we have these cards stacked up in order like we do, these packs in order like we do, because I want to see if that's true. But we've pulled 2 legendaries so far, if I'm recalling correct, and I have a feeling that there's going to be several more in these bottom packs here. Starting off with a Hyperspace IG-88. That's great artwork. I love that. I love the purple on the sides. Purple's my favorite color, so that looks really good. IG-88 deploys at 5, and he does 5 damage and has 4 health. Another Chopper Base. That was kind of funny, right? As you pulled Chopper Base, like the stream chopped a little bit. We have another Resilience. Great upgrade. Another Death Star Stormtrooper. Another Escort Skiff. Another Scout Bike Pursuer. So you got 2 of those now. Another Ardent Sympathizer. Another Confiscate. Great to just remove an upgrade. Another Outer Rim Headhunter. Cell Block Guard. We got a Hyperspace Wilderness Fighter. That looks awesome because the little streaks on the sides, they almost look like snow. Really blends in well. That's a really cool card. Reinforcement Walker for our first unique. I like Reinforcement Walker. It works pretty good to heal. Comes in late game, but it's 8, has 6 health, or 9 health, 6 damage. That 9 health is huge because he has a lot of staying power. When you play it, you get value, and every time you attack, you get value. And that value is you get to look at the top card of your deck. You can either draw that card, or you can discard it if you don't want it. And if you do discard it, you heal 3 damage from your base. So it has a lot of staying power at that 9 health, and you're just healing, 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 or getting cards that you need. Really great in like a Tarkin deck where you're playing a lot of small cards. Next unique, we got another Star Wing Scout here. I like the artwork on that. It looks so nice. Got another unique. Is that a unique or a rare? Yeah, it's unique. So we got Lieutenant Childson. He's a 4/2/2. He has Sentinel, and when played, reveal up to 4 Vigilance cards from your hand. For each card revealed this way, give an experience token to him. So if you show your opponent 4 Vigilance cards, he's gaining 4 experience immediately, and then 1 experience is +1/+1, so he's going to be a 6/6 right out the gate at a 4. It's pretty strong in my opinion. Got our first rare. We got Delmico. He's a 3/3/3, has Restore 1. He's kind of good for shutting down decks that are going to be playing a lot of events, because each event an opponent plays costs 1 more. And that's going to be very good in Twin Suns, I think, because it's not just the one other opponent, it's all other opponents. And for our foil, we got Snapshot Reflexes. It's like we have 4, 5, 6, what, like maybe 8 packs left, or yeah, I think 8 packs are left. So as we get down in these bottom packs, I'm really curious to see if we start seeing some more rare cards. Starting off with Hyperspace Hera. I think that's your first Hera. Hera is really interesting because she can play Spectre cards off aspect. She does not have to pay aspect penalty. She ignores all aspect penalty of all Spectre cards you play. So that does count for events as well. Castro City for our base. Another. Have we seen Homestead Militia? It's a very common card. I don't think we've seen it yet though. So we'll just give it a little overview here. It's a 3/3/4 Fringe Trooper, and while you control 6 or more resources, he has Sentinel. So not too much play in my opinion, but interesting card nonetheless. Here's a very interesting card. Honestly, it has nothing special attached to it. It is a rebel and it is trooper. It costs 4, does 3 damage, has 7 health. It's super super tanky for a 4-drop, 7 health. So you like it has a little bit of staying power. It's not getting removed very easy. So you're gonna get some value out of it. I feel. I haven't seen it played a lot though. Here is Fleet Lieutenant. So this is the Snow Trooper Lieutenant counterpart, and it's a 3/3/3 attack with another rebel. Give it 2 for the attack when played. And that's really really strong. I love Fleet Lieutenant. I love Snow Trooper Lieutenant. Got Mission Briefing. I like Mission Briefing, but I have not really played it yet. I feel like it's really only good if you absolutely need a lot of card draw. So if you're playing like a swarm build or a swarm deck or something like that, and you're just going through your cards really, really fast, because in regroup phase, you're only drawing 2 cards, so you can run out of cards very easily. This lets you pay some of your resources to just bolster your cards in hand. Another Echo-based Defender, my favorite Sentinel. TIE Fighter, really, really strong. TIE Fighters are strong because they come out as 1. I mean, you can't beat that. Another Waylay, great to send units back to your opponent's hand. We got a Liberator gunship. I don't think we pulled one of these yet, but it's a space unit, obviously. It's a 4/3/4, and it has ambush. So basically just comes out swinging. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. System Patrol Craft in hyperspace. That looks awesome. I really like that. Those streaks look awesome in space. Got a unique here. We have Yoda. Yoda. I really like Yoda because he's Force. He works good in like a Luke deck, but again, shields aren't that great right now. So, but he's a 3/2. How much health does he have? He's got 4. He has Restore 2, and when he dies, you get to draw cards. You're getting that card draw. You're getting value out of him when even if he gets defeated. I can't wait to see Yoda leader. I feel like we're gonna get Yoda leader at some point. I can't wait to see what that's like. I love Cantina Bouncer. So I actually had like a double yellow boba deck, and costs 5, does 3 damage, which is a little low for a 5, but it at least has 5 health. But here's the nice thing. When played, you get to it basically has waylay when you play it. So you're getting a unit and you get to waylay something. Got another unique here, General Taj. I actually need some more of them for my Tarkin deck. But he's a 2/2/2. When played, you give an experience token to up to 3 other trooper units. So if you have 3 troopers in play, you just play him on a 2 as a 2-drop, and you just dumped out 3 experience into your troopers. That's great. We got Wedge. Wedge is an interesting card. I think it's going to get a lot more play when vehicles are a lot more prevalent and there's more from future sets. But he's a 5/5/5, which is pretty decent stats. And each friendly vehicle gets +1/+1 and gains ambush. So any future vehicles that you play, they're all going to have ambush, it's great. But there's just not enough. There's not enough vehicles, I feel, to really justify using him yet. And for the foil, it is a Occupier Siege Tank. So this will be the last pack in the what would be the third deck that he would get to build for our tournament. Starting off with Leia. Swamp for the base. Academy Training. Moment of Peace. Regional Sympathizers. Bit rate's kind of going to hell again a little bit, but so far we have just cards that we already know. So Guerrilla Attack Pod. Patrolling V-Wing. Another Vanquish. ISB Agent. Another Corellian Freighter. Jawa Scavenger. I like the artwork on that. It just looks so good. Here we go. New card here. So we got Wing Leader. Wing Leader costs 3, does 2 damage, and it has 1 health. So it's very squishy. But the main point of the Wing Leader is you get to give 2 experience tokens to another Rebel unit. This is one that would work good with any form of. Hey, there we go. It just popped back in. The the bit rate just caught up. With any form of like waylay or return, like if you play what's that one Space Sentinel card that costs 4 that lets you return one of your cards back to your hand, and if you do, you draw a card. That one, if you play that and then you bring Wing Leader back into your hand, you can play it again and give another 2 experience. So it's pretty good in my opinion. We have another unique coming up. No Good to Me Dead. I love that card. This card's great because it's a 2-drop and you get to exhaust a unit and it cannot ready during the next regroup phase. So you've basically taken out a commission for 2 whole phases. Another unique Rogue Squadron Scrimmager. This card intrigues me a lot. So it's a 6-drop, a little anemic on the damage, but then again, that's ambush cards normally are. But it does 4 damage, 6 health. It has ambush, and when played, return a unit that costs 2 or less from the discard pile back into your hand. So prevents a little bit of milling, kind of. Not really milling so much because it doesn't go back into your deck. But if you're playing a lot of small cards and you need to get some more of them back into your hand, it's basically like giving you card draw. We got a rare here, and it's You're My Only Hope. I've never seen this played. I don't really. So it's a 3-drop. You get to look at the top card on your deck. You may play it. It costs 5 less. If your base has 5 or less remaining HP, you can play for free instead. I've never seen anyone actually use it. It sounds like it's good. I kind of want to experiment with it a little bit now, but I've never seen anyone actually use it. And for our foil, we have a Wampa. Getting down to the wire here on these packs. I think my theory is going to stand true. I think we're going to start seeing a lot more legendaries and rarer cards down here. Here we go. First, Grand Inquisitor. I was talking a lot about Grand Inquisitor earlier. That's the first one. He's kind of weak in my opinion. Like he comes out on 6, but he only does 3 damage, which I feel like that's just not enough. But I don't know. Maybe he's balanced. Command center for the base. Rugged Survivors. I don't know if we got Rugged Survivors yet, but basically grit. Yeah, we talked about them before. Because if you control a leader unit, you draw a card. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about them. Then we got Precision Fire here for our next common. Did we talk about Precision Fire? I know we talked about the one that gives this. Yeah. No, I don't think we talked about another upgrade that I was talking about that works good with Tarkin, with a Trooper Tarkin deck as well. But this is really nice. It's a 1-drop. You'd probably sideboard this, but you can attach it to you can attack with a unit and it gains Saboteur for this attack. So it allows you, like, let's say they have a lot of Sentinel up, they're kind of holding you off at the end of the game there. Play this, you do 2 extra damage on a Trooper, and you just get to bypass them and go straight into their base, maybe finish off the game. Great event card. Resupply goes into play as a resource. Another Academy Defense Walker. Another Disabling Fang Fighter. Strike True, one of my favorite removal cards. Underworld Thug. Another Crafty Smuggler. ATST. Another Carabast. Another Baze. Ooh, we got a Hyperspace. Hey, there you go. That looks amazing. I don't think I've ever actually seen one of those. That looks so good. Those streaks on the side, they almost look like an extension of the orange lines that are around him. That looks so good. We got a No Good to Me Dead in Hyperspace. Here we go. Legendary. I'm right. The bottom of the boxes. Mace Windu. Nice. I love Mace Windu. Mace Windu is such a great card in my opinion. Very underrated. I haven't really seen a lot of Mace Windu. I don't know if it's just because he's so rare, but he comes out on 7, so it's, later in the game. He does 5 damage and has 7 health. Force Jedi Republic, but he comes out and he ambushes something. And then when that unit dies, or when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you get to ready him. So he comes out, ambushes, and then he stays readied. So you get a lot of value out of Mace Windu. I really, really like Mace Windu. There is another legendary directly behind this Mace Windu. What is this? It is a foil Boba Fett. Wow, what a great pack. So Boba Fett unit is a great unit, and that looks pretty dang good in foil. But he comes out on 3. He's got 3 damage and has 5 health. And on attack, if this unit is attacking an exhausted unit that did not enter play this round, you deal 3 damage. And the nice thing about it is, on attack resolves at the same time as the attack. So he can deal the 3 damage, and if it kills it, it's just like free 3 damage that you just throw out. It's bent a little bit because you can see from that foil, but I've been told that you can flatten those out. But that's crazy. 2 legendaries in a pack. Wow. I'm telling you guys, the bottom of the boxes has all the good cards. So, little secret, if you see a fresh box opened in a store, reach in the bottom. Probably going to get a lot of hate for telling that little secret, but you know what? It is what it is. Everybody should have that info. And Roger says, if you see a box in a store, wake up from your dream. It's because all the stock is sold out. We got Tarkin for our leader here. We got Echo Base, Occupier Siege Tank, Echo Base Defender, another Guardian of the Wills, another Partisan Insurgent, Fleet Lieutenant, Tactical Advantage, Gamorrean Guards, another TIE Fighter, Crafty Smuggler, Ruthless Raider for the first unique. Can never have too many Ruthless Raiders. I really like that card. Next unique, we got an Entrench. This is one of Roger's favorite cards. It's a 2-drop, and it's really kind of strong in multiple avenues. You can put this on another unit of your opponent, and then it just can't attack your base anymore. So if you're in, like, holding down space, or you're holding down ground and you just want to stop something from hitting you in that arena, you could just put that on it. Or you put it on your own unit and you can't attack bases, but you're just holding down the fort. So pretty strong upgrade. Multiple uses. First unique, we got Bosk. I like Bosk. Bosk is really good. He comes out on 5. You can drop him for 5 drop, 4 attack, and 5 health. He has ambush, so you can attack something right away. And the nice thing is, he works really good in Boba decks because when you play an event, you can deal 2 damage to a unit. Another unique, or is that a rare here? So we got a strafing gunship. I like strafing gunship. I haven't seen too many other people use it, but in theory, I really, really like it. It's a 4 drop, 3 attack, 4 health, and this unit can attack ground units. So normally in Star Wars Unlimited, for people who don't know, you can't attack cross arena. There's a space arena and a ground arena. This allows you to attack units that are on the ground, and when you take the rebuttal damage, it's 2 less. So if you're attacking like a unit that does only 2 damage, you take nothing in return. If you attack a unit that does 3 damage, you only take 1 damage in return. So you can get a lot of value out of your strafing gunship. And for the foil, we have a hyperspace foil mining guild TIE fighter. That's pretty cool looking. All right, we're going to tear right into this next pack. Starting off with Sabine for our leader, Capital City for the base. Got another surgical droid, Imperial Interceptor, Metal Ceremony, Seasoned Shore Trooper, System Patrol Craft, Open Fire, 7th Fleet Defender, Frontier ATRT, Syndicate Lackeys. Got our first unique, Vanguard Ace. Another unique, Prepare for Takeoff. Prepare for Takeoff, we haven't seen yet. I like this card, and it's actually interesting that it came right after Vanguard Ace because it costs 2. It's a command card, it costs 2, and you get to search the top 8 cards of your deck for up to 2 vehicle units, reveal them, and draw them. And then you put the others on the bottom. So if you're like digging for, I don't know, a Space Sentinel or something like that, or you're trying to find a red 3, this makes it a lot easier. So we have another unique, it looks like, coming up. Forced Surrender. Our rare, Galactic Ambition. I've never used this card. I don't know. So it's a 7 drop, and you can play a non-heroic unit from your hand for free and deal damage to your base equal to its cost. So it doesn't seem like a good option in my opinion, but who knows as as more sets come out, we'll see. And for our foil, we have a common Liberator gunship. All right, I smell another legendary in this next pack. I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to knock on wood. Starting off with Han. That's the first Han we've seen. Han's a pretty interesting leader. So let's see what he does here. So Han, he is one of the most confusing ones for me. So you get to put a card for his action. You put a card from your hand into play as a resource and ready it. And at the start of the next action phase, you must defeat a resource. And he deploys on 6. So he comes out on 6. He's got 4 health, and he's got 6 health and 4 damage. And on attack, put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. He's probably going to be very good going into the next set because the next set is circled around 2 new mechanics that we know of so far. You have the bounty hunting aspect where you can collect bounties, and you have the smuggling mechanic where you can put things into play into your resource area, and you basically can play them from there, and they do some special stuff. We got catacombs for our base. We got security force. Mission briefing. Homestead militia. Rugged survivors. Imperial interceptor. Resupply. Liberator gunship. Some more underworld thugs. Surprise Strike, great event in my opinion. We got our first unique coming up. Hard points. We haven't seen this yet. Hard point heavy blaster. This is going to become more relevant when there's more vehicles. It'll work really good with wedge as well because wedge makes all the units vehicles be able to come out as an ambush and get +1. So this is a 2-drop upgrade. It gives 2 health and 2 attack to a vehicle unit. Must be a vehicle. And the attached unit gains on attack. If this unit isn't attacking a base, deal 2 damage to a unit in the defender's arena. So it's really good to just pummel a lot of units. I can't wait to see this with more vehicles. Got another unique here. We have Rallying Cry. It's a double red 3-drop. Each friendly unit gains raid 2 for this phase. Got another unique, the Ghost. So this works very good with Spectre decks. So if you're doing like a Hera build or something, you got a lot of Spectres. It's a 6 cost, Vigilance Heroic, 5 health, 5 damage. It comes out shielded, which is nice because you're going to get some staying power on it. And when played and on attack, you may give a shield token to another Spectre unit. That is the Ghost. Got I think that's a rare. It's a little blurry here. Yep, rare. 5 cost, Smoke and Cinders, Disaster. Each player discards all but 2 cards from their hand. I don't know why you'd want to do this. I guess maybe if you have no cards in your hand besides this, you'd play it and then just wipe your opponent's hand if they have a bunch of cards. Is that a legendary? Almost looks, oh, it's uncommon. It looked almost like a legendary. We got a foil attack pattern Delta. I think we're at 3 legendaries so far. How many packs are left? Looks like 2. Oh, there's 4 packs left. Oh no, there's 2 packs. Oh, we're at 4. We're at 4 legendaries, 2 packs left. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Vader. Yeah, there was a Vader. All right, let's see what we get. We got Jin for our base, or for for our base, for our leader. We got Administrator's Tower, Recruit, Wilderness Fighter, Green Squadron A-Wing, Mercenary Company, Restore Arc, Infiltrator Skill, Jawa, Maximum Firepower, Disarm, First Unique. We got another Lieutenant Childson. Next unique, another Pirated Starfighter. Another unique, another Rogue Squadron Skirmisher. Our rare, Agent Callus. Agent Callus is a 5-drop. He's got 4 health and does 4 damage. He is an Imperial Trooper, so he can work with Trooper builds, although I don't really have him in there because he's kind of expensive for what he does. But he does get to Ambush, and again, Ambush cards normally have a little bit lower damage, so they're not just coming out and deleting something huge. And when another unique card is defeated, another unique unit is defeated, you may draw a card. And you can only use that ability once each round, though. So there's a lot of uniques going around that can help you out. It looks like we have a unique for our foil. We have a foil Entrench. Here comes the last pack. I'm probably going to, after Roger is done ripping this pack here, I'm probably going to, I have a singular pack and a singular weekly play booster that I will open as well. Leader, IG-88. Base, Castro City. We have another Academy Defense Walker. Another Precision Fire. Another Metal Ceremony. Another Seasoned Shore Trooper. Surgical Droid. Another Disabling Fang Fighter. ATST. 7th Fleet Defender. I see a little Hyperspace peeking. Hyperspace Crafty Smuggler. That looks great. Anything that has like stuff coming off of the card, like going out of the frame, always looks really good. Those bullet shots, they just look so much better in hyperspace. Have a unique smuggling compartments. This is kind of an interesting upgrade. And it's going to be even more interesting seeing how it plays in the future when you're actually smuggling. But you attach to a vehicle unit. It gives +1/+1, so it's like an experience token, and the attached unit gains on attack ready a resource. So it could be pretty useful to stand a lot of resources. Another unique, Admiral Piet. I don't think we've seen Admiral Piet yet, but he's a 2/1/4, and each friendly non-leader unit that costs 6 or more gains ambush. We have another unique, another force throw, 2 force throws in this box. Nice. Got a rare Spark of Rebellion. Spark of Rebellion is a really, really good card. It's a 2-cost event. You look at your opponent's hand and discard something from it, anything you want. It's really great. Then for our last card here, we got a common foil medal ceremony. Not too shabby of a box, if I say. You got a Vader in there, which is always great. You got a Mace. What other legendaries did we get? We got Vader, we got Mace, we got Boba, we got Vigilance. I feel like there was one other. Can't remember. There's the Vader. I can't believe you got a Vader and a Mace. I'm so jealous. Oh yeah, and the black one. That is a nice black one too, because it's hyperspace foil. That's amazing. Oh, Roger's saying it looks like it has a little bit of damage on it. Yeah. Yeah, there's like, oh yeah, that's why it was stuck. So there's something happened with the foil, it looks like, and it's stuck. That's very unfortunate. We'll have to get FFG to watch this and send you a new one. Oh, that's unfortunate. But that's why we thought that was the miscut. But yeah, maybe he might try cleaning that up, maybe with a Q-tip, damp Q-tip or something, and see if he can't gently clean that off of there. But quite a few legendaries in there. I was kind of right in the bottom part of the deck. I want to say it was like the lower half of the deck really seems to have a lot of the good cards. So not too bad of a box. Let us know what you guys think about that down in the comments. We're gonna make some shorts of some of the cool pulls going forward, and we are probably going to do once we get some more product coming in. We're gonna do a sealed league using those cards that you guys just watched ripped on stream. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to actually, yeah, I'll rip my pack. Let's do it. I'm gonna take Roger's cam down from being full screen, and we're gonna put mine up. So let's go ahead and switch that. This is the space that we use when we battle each other. My camera's here facing his is up there facing down, and we have this play space that kind of you get this mirror going on, which works pretty good. Let's make mine full screen. And I'm going to rip this pack I got here and this weekly play. We're going to do the regular pack first. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Hopefully we get something good. Hey, it feels nice to actually be the one opening up a pack. IG-88, Hyperspace Kestro, Make an Opening, Cantina Braggett, Consortium Star Viper, Death Trooper, a Wampa, Super Laser Technician, Snapshot Reflexes, Asteroid Sanctuary, Snow Trooper Lieutenant. First unique coming up. We got Pirated Starfighter, Overwhelming Barrage. Yes, I needed another one of these. So we got an Overwhelming Barrage. Here comes another unique, Carabast. And we have a rare, I Had No Choice. And we have a common in the back, Resupply. That was a pretty good pack, honestly. I'm not mad about that. We got I Had No Choice, Carabast, Overwhelming Barrage. Pretty good. All right. I like to use scissors and cut the tops off these. Let me pop this off. Oh, I didn't quite go all the way through. You gotta be very careful when you do this because I don't want to cut the cards. That would be devastating. There we go. All right. Let's turn it upside down and slide these out. starting off with Leia, C3PO, and another Sabine Wren. It's not the Surge Foil. I have a couple of these in Surge Foil. I think I have one in Surge Foil, but I really, really, really like this artwork. It looks so good on Sabine. So there you guys have it. You watched an entire box ripped, saw a bunch of really cool legendaries, couple of anomalies, and then you got to see an additional couple packs ripped. So I hope you guys enjoyed that stream. Let us know what you thought about those down in the comments, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.